Alright, looks like we're off. Hey, I'm Swords and Kirby, and I'll be commentating this run, loser side race between Mr. Shasta and Run in a Week. So, Run in a Week was sent to losers by Crepissimo in round 1. And also, Shasta lost a very, very close match with Zap It. They had really similar PBs and basically came down right to the wire. And that's how we're here in losers round 2. The Run Week having a little bit of trouble with the water section, taking quite a bit of damage in 1-1, but fortunately there is max right at the very end. Okay, both of them having pretty regular wall of dew fights. Run Week saving a little bit of time over Shasta based on the like a very small optimization involving the shard grabs at the end of mini bosses in World 1. You'll see that the cutscene or the fade out at the level end triggers when Ribbon, the little fairy girl, goes back into Kirby's hitbox. So Shasta just jumped into the shard and landed on the ground, so Ribbon took a little bit longer to get back. Let me just adjust the audio a little bit. Shasta's currently having a 1-room lead. Unfortunately, Run a Week doing the fire a little bit too late. The ideal thing to do there is to get behind the mini boss and grazing over it with fire. Okay, so now this is kind of an auto-scrollery boss fight. There are a couple different phases, and there might be a little bit of time lost due to luck. Shasta gets good luck on the first phase. Basically, Adeline, the painter girl, can wave her brush, or also just sort of like stare at you without moving. So unfortunately, Shasta the second time and Run the Week for the first phase get the brush wave. It's only like a second, but there's just several luck elements. Man, I think Run of the Week might have gotten the maximum number of brush. But still, at this point, not too far behind Shasta. I think Shasta's warming up a little bit more with the single fire. It is somewhat precise to stay in the air without losing too much height, and without losing too much speed as well. So the name of the game 100% is to collect all the shards and get the best ending of the game. And in order to do that, you need to go through many of these power combos in order to collect all the shards. Some barriers are only breakable by certain powers. So that's why you see the runners switch between fire, which is useful for movement, and other power combinations. Shasta just going for the regular DED fight here. Pretty simple. They're, I guess, not really real bosses. Oh yeah, Shasta. Shasta remembered to float after grabbing the shard. Well, unfortunately, Run and Weak missed timing the fires for the first phase and had to get knocked back a little bit. Should be okay for the second phase. Alright, Shasta getting good luck on Wispy. Basically, the idea is that for the second phase, you can only damage the roots, but sometimes this apple thing can come out first. Oh, unfortunately, Run Weak getting comboed by the Wispy Jr. is going to lose fire there. Oh, actually takes a death on the first block. Both runners at kind of low health going into that fight. It is possible to sort of get comboed by the first phase. Okay, Run Weak. Oh, unfortunately spitting too early there. That's going to cost him time. Ooh, Shasta is almost too low for that shard. Okay, let's see what kind of luck Run Weak gets. Unfortunately, it took some time trying to get back double fire. As you can see on Shasta's screen, going through 2-1 with double fire is really, really useful. So generally speaking, there are 3 different ways of getting faster than running speed in this game. Single and double fire, which you've seen so far, and there's also going to be something called curling stone later on, which is the combination of ice and stone. Double fire is especially helpful for Wispy Woods just because it's large hitbox. So the way that works is that once you start it up, you have no control over it for 3 seconds, and then after it runs out, there's a long recovery period. So there's, it's not just spamming it, I guess, there's definitely some routing involved. And deviating from it can be kind of... Oh, Run Weak not rolling over the food there. So you see Shasta here jump up the little hill. That's because running up and down in this game causes you to lose momentum. And there's a little bit of a risky shard grab, I guess. Or sorry, power combination there. You need to get Stone and Spark for this barrier coming up here. And if you're to miss, Sparky is one of the few enemies that has any randomness in the run. You have to restart the entire level. And there are a couple places where if you mess something up, you need to restart the entire level. So even though Shasta's currently built up a pretty comfortable lead, Run Weak has to run through this auto-scroller. It's still, it's still possible for something to go wrong later on in the run. kind of a risky situation for running a week, only down to 1 health, but luckily grabs the shard. If you're to take a death before grabbing that shard, that would be a huge time loss. And there is something slightly risky that Run in a Week was doing, which was that in order to put the power into Kirby's mouth quickly, you can take out the power while damaging yourself. Going for the maximum tomato. There's health available at the end of every single level in the form of these picnics. But normally there's an animation for Kirby taking out power and holding it above his head. And throwing the power is slower than spitting it out. So if you're able to immediately put into your mouth by taking out the power and then canceling it by taking damage, then the power goes straight into your mouth and you can spit it out faster. So at this point right now, Shasta has almost a whole levels lead over Run in a Week, mostly because of the death that Run in a Week took during the Wispy fight. Unfortunately, Run in a Week didn't go for the better backup option of getting double fire in 1-1, so that was, yes, it cost him a little bit more time. Okay, Shasta demonstrating here Curling Stone. The health situation is, I guess, a little bit not ideal. If Shasta were to take were to take 2 damage, oh, there's 1. Ideally, he wants to finish this level with at least 3 health. So either he needs to pick up food or just not take damage again for the rest of the stage. Might go for this food right here. Yep. And the way a Curling Stone works is that Run a Week having a slightly cleaner grab for the ice, unfortunately getting stuck on the ghost net. The way that Curling Stone works is that you start out, if you're running, you move at 50% faster than, you start out at 50% faster speed. And if you're walking, then it's only, I believe, 16% faster. And every single frame, you're decelerating. So that's why you see Shasta going in and out of Curling Stone. But every single time you exit Curling Stone, you also go back into walking speed. So there is a Run of the Week with the swag barrier break through the ceiling. You'll see Shasta going in and out of it. And in between Curling Stones, you need to reactivate your run by double tapping the direction. So one of the great things about Curling Stone for this stage, besides the fact that you need some kind of stone power to break the barrier early on, is that you fall really fast in water with it being a stone. And not only can you cancel taking out your power with taking damage, but also going through screen transitions as well. Oh, Run a Week unfortunately missing the food there. Now if Run a Week takes any more damage, then he'll have to get food, the minigame. Oh, I think Run a Week is trying to. There's like a little bit of like a dust cloud that appears behind. Oh, when you use Curling Stone, trying to damage the mini bosses. In this game, Kirby has a limited amount of floating power, and you're normally not able to float all the way up into the loading zone without running out of air. But if you take damage, in fact you need to take damage twice, then you can get up there. Like every time you take damage, your air resets, so you can actually float up there with after taking 2 damage off the shotzos on the wall. Ooh, Shasta, nice. What we call task block. Getting the light bulb power as quickly as possible on the best possible cycle. Shasta yesterday was talking about how he kept getting Cloud for that particular minigame, but this time he did not. Ooh, running weak getting a little bit stuck on the wall. The easiest way to just avoid everything in this vertical room is to just simply swim up, hugging the left side. And it turns out that that's the optimal way of grabbing the shard as well. Okay, so right now, Shasta has, roughly speaking, like a 2-minute lead. Oh, Runaway electing not to go for any extra health here, so I'll have to be sure not to take any damage. Nice. Taking care of that rough enemy with a jumping bomb. There is health later on for Run a Week, so he made it to the elevator with 3 health. He'll be able to take the double damage boost. The way that losing your power works in this game is that if you take damage twice in quick succession, then it causes your power to pop out. But oh, Shasta getting the most difficult phase, unfortunately running the wrong direction early on. So I think he won't be able to get 3 hits here. Oh, unfortunately Run a Week taking a death, getting crushed by the little platform. And I think, okay, Run a Week will elect to just redo the stage. Shasta looking like he's going to get a 2 cycle here. Oh, stuck. Stuck. There's essentially 3 different patterns for picks. The first one that you saw from Shasta is one where they're bunched up together. In that case, the best thing to do is just attack with your double spark. But if you get the other patterns, then you spit out the double star instead. Shasta on to World 4 now. Kind of convenient that at the beginning of a lot of these worlds, normally speaking, you'll be using something else to fight the boss of the previous world, but it's nice that they give you a fire enemy towards the beginning of each world. Okay, Run Week is going to get Light Bulb first before grabbing the shard. Oh, actually, he already grabbed the shard, so he doesn't need to do it again. So luckily in this game, if you quit out of a level, it does save the shards that you get. Ooh, Shasta almost running into that explosion. If you get damaged while you're trying to hail something, that disappears. So even though Run a Week took a death in this stage, quit out of it, getting that shard in that moving platform room still counted. Right, so there are 3 different parts picks, like red, green, and blue. So each color channel, I guess. And each of the diamonds has 4 health. And like throwing a double power up will do 2 damage. But also, if you match the colors with the projectiles that spawn on the ground, you match the colors green with green, so on and so forth, it does 2 damage. Otherwise, a mismatched color just does 1 damage. So if they're spread apart, the best thing to do is to spit out the double power, try to hit 2 of them, and then try to match colors the rest of the way through. So we saw earlier Shasta take a 2 cycle on this, because he got that bunch pattern and wasn't able to get 4 hits with double spark, and then finished off pretty quickly the next cycle. So run a week gets better luck, but positioning is a little bit. I think he spit too high there. Now he's trying to match, unfortunately taking damage. If you only use the projectiles on the ground, there's just enough ammo to take care of all 3 parts, but they have to be matching color. So at this point, still needs to do 2 damage on each of red and green, and all right, gets a 2 cycle pick. So right now, Shasta is like roughly like 1.5 levels ahead of Run in a Week. Shasta's just jumping all over the place on the auto scroller. There are certain parts of the auto scroller, this particular auto scroller, where if you jump, you can actually save time by preserving speed. When you're in the air, you preserve whatever speed you are moving at in the river. And so there are fast parts and slow parts. And Shasta getting the fast jump at the end for the waterfall. Yeah, there are fast parts and slow parts, so you want to be jumping from fast into slow to preserve that fast speed. Run a Week said that he'd be doing a different strat here, but I think he's going to let the penguin actually run back around like that in order to get the double combination. So fortunately, the enemies don't, like for example, that penguin doesn't actually run into the loading zone and disappear, but actually bounce off of the, I guess, invisible wall, come back. So Shasta making an upward climb here. I think he modified the specific route from essentially just for this tournament. The practice leading up to this. Run a Week threading the needle between all those enemies. Yeah, one thing you see on Run a Week screen is that he got something in his mouth for a really extended period of time. While it's happening, I guess you're not able to slide and things like that, for example, into the loading zone. But the whole goal is to avoid, if you're trying to make a double power, then you don't want to, inhale something, swallow it, take it back out, and then spit it at the next thing. But if you're able to just cut out some of those steps by keeping it in your mouth the entire time, it does end up saving time. So even though the sliding, you can't slide during it, can't do all that kind of movement, it does ultimately save time. Alright, Shasta getting the stone plus cutter combination. Being especially careful to make sure that he hits the mini boss with power. Alright, Rick. Shasta getting unlucky here. 8th try, Rick. Wow. There are 6 different animal friends that you can get, and Rick is the only one. So anything like 6 and higher would be bad luck. We'll see what Run in a Week gets in a couple minutes. Oh, Rick again. Shasta. Not like it really matters. Alright, Shasta breaking the power on the door. It's a surprisingly finicky trick. Weird hitboxes and other annoying mechanics. Well, unfortunately, Run a Week trying to inhale the fire enemy, but then taking damage while that was happening, so the fire enemy disappeared. Luckily, there are more fire enemies along here. Nothing to worry about. Shasta taking the upper route for the fish. Oh, stuck. Some enemies can do interesting effects when you hold them above your head. So, in particular, the main one that's useful for this run is holding the fish, allowing it to swim for you. And it saves a significant amount of time for just that room. And the 2 routes that I mentioned, if you go low, then you can keep it for just a little bit longer, but you will certainly take damage in that route. So there's a little bit of trade-off. But it is safer. You don't have to worry about the boulders and so forth falling on you. And then there's a top route that Shasta took, gets very close to the ceiling and can be a little bit scary, but at the same time. Alright, nice mini boss kill for Shasta. Just getting stuck in that alcove and then throwing bombs and Shasta not getting trolled by the boulders there. Fortunately, getting out of here with bomb intact. That's important for this boss. So right now, Run a Week is making his way towards Rick. And it's sort of different from a lot of Kirby games that through cutscenes and screen transitions, you can actually hold stuff in your mouth. Well, not all of them, but for screen transitions for sure, and some of the cutscenes. Oh. Interesting way of combining, I think. Run of the Week was just trying to be super sure, because if you were to mess up that combination, then you actually need to restart the entire stage over again. Okay, this can be... Okay, this is... Yep, I knew that was going to happen. Unfortunately, the shard disappears after you go through the door. Okay, well, at least we can see the Rick trying. Run of the Week gets second try Rick, but unfortunately has to redo the stage up to the boss. So, unfortunately, he'll need to go back. Shasta, unfortunately, getting a little bit caught on the log room. Oh! Oh, Mr. Shard. Mr. Shard twice, and unfortunately had to backtrack at the time. But there are certain cycles that one is trying to make for these rooms in the stage. Okay, I think Run of the Week is coming here just to get a maximum tomato. Electing not to go for a speed power, like for example something like fire. Oh! Shasta, I think, got a little bit... I think Shasta just started mashing when trying to take out the power and accidentally threw it away. He's going to come to 1-2 to get bomb plus stone. He literally just jumped over a bomb enemy, so this this detour was a little bit unnecessary. Alright, Run of the Week grabs a shard, this time going behind the mini-boss, so he wouldn't fall to the floor when the mini-boss was defeated. Alright, now onto the minecart section here. Unlike the River Auto-Scroller, what Shasta's doing this what you're supposed to do, which is jumping as much as possible. I think people often say that like each jump saves a frame or something like that. So Shasta right now has the dynamite power. It's actually really easy to damage yourself with it if you're not careful. It's the only one in the game that can actually damage Kirby. And you need to get through all these enemies, these rooms, so on and so forth, just to get one shard. And so what you'll actually see him doing is actually not using it at all. Except maybe in a couple spots. But only for like movement purposes and not for clearing out enemies. And in this particular stage, in the parts outside the minecart, there's actually no bomb or stone enemies. So you have to bring this power in from a different stage. So as you can see here, Shasta is canceling the faceplant animation by throwing the dynamite. The dynamite didn't actually hit anything, but he was able to maintain his. So Shasta's a little bit low on health, so for this mini boss, you'll see him pull out the safety hat. Ooh. And that allows you to avoid taking damage from the dynamite. So bomb is especially useful for acro, just because the hitbox lingers for a while. And also, as you see at the start of the second phase, acro will spawn below you, and being able to throw the bomb downward is really, really helpful. Even before you even see acro, it has a chance to attack you. Run a week getting the nicer pattern. Being able to take care of the second phase of acro in just one cycle. Shasta is looking a little bit low on health. Got stuck a little bit on those bouncies jumping around. Oh, unfortunately taking a death there. So trying to float a little bit too early before he was able to, and then just fell right in. Luckily, this is where you get Curling Stone anyway, so there's not too much of a time loss. Oh, unfortunately, headbutting the Terran enemy right before going to Curling Stone. Yeah, currently Mr. Shasta has around a 2-stage lead over Runaway Week. Runaway Week in the Vine Room right now. Shasta got Pizza, the medium luck pattern. Yeah, unfortunately, Run of the Week got caught up on one of the vines. That caused him to be on a different cycle here, but still able to grab onto the last set of vines and blow into the loading. Oh, unfortunately, Run Week taking damage and losing fire. This room in particular is really easy to lose fire because there's oftentimes no platform for your power star to land anywhere. So unfortunately, he's gonna have to go through the rest of this room, a little bit of the next room without fire. Yeah, the deceleration for Curling Stone also does happen in the air. Okay, Run Week just selecting just not going for fire because he's gonna need to drop it at the end of this room anyways. So no point in taking it for like 2 steps. Ooh. Ricocheting off the wall a little bit. So the main goal of main reason why we get Curling Stone at all here is to get a certain shard that requires ice in this stage. And this being a active volcano, there are no ice enemies, so it has to be brought in from a different stage. Yeah, inexplicably that block requires ice to break. Most of the blocks in this game are color-coded, but for some reason... Oh, that's trying to break that top barrier. For some reason, this one is colored brown and red and requires ice. Oh, just getting comboed by these enemies here. Unfortunately, down to 1 health. This can be a little bit scary, but there is some food in the next room. Right here in particular. And once Shasta is able to get out of this room, then he should be fine. The usual way of collecting this shard requires damage boosting, so hopefully he doesn't come into that room with 1 health. Alright, taking it a little bit safe, electing not to do some of the... Alright, we're good. As you can see here, the strat is to just Curling Stone into the block, breaking it, grabbing the shard, and then immediately taking damage right after. There's also some health to collect here, so that's okay. But in any case, the big thing was getting that shard using the ice. Yeah, I think Run a Week missed the cycle, so it's a little bit different from what normally. Oh, just running through. Let's see, Shasta so far. Getting a medium, well, I guess like getting bad luck on first phase. Meanwhile, Run of the Week is going through 4-3 now, going through the curling stone section. Wow, Shasta got very bad luck. The worst pattern for the second phase by far. Running weak, kind of low in health part right here. I'll have to be a little bit careful. Oh. Running into the first enemy there. Oh, unfortunately taking a death here. But similar to Shasta's situation, he will be able to just easily go back to get Curling Stone again. So Running Week actually getting top hat pattern, which is actually the best for 4-3. Yeah, Curling Stone is actually, I would say, pretty carefully routed. It can be quite tricky to get through, especially 4-3. But that also applies with like pretty much any of those stages that use Curling Stone. Electing not to go for the health again. This might be a little bit scary for Running Week because, as we saw for Shasta's 4-4, he almost died before reaching the room with the second shard. Can be a little bit scary, especially with these boulders at the very, very beginning, these rocks falling down from the sky. They are completely random, so Running Week unfortunately already taking 1 damage there. Shasta having a pretty decent 5-1 there. Oh. Yeah, there is some food along the way, but still can be kind of scary. I think there's just one more food item in the deity section, so Running Week will need to be extra careful here. Basically just using his hammer to take care of just about everything. Uh-oh. Okay, I think there's one also. Yeah, okay, there's. Quite scary. Oh no. I don't think the hammer reaches here, unfortunately. Waiting out the Galbos firing. Alright, manages to make it through the DD section. Pretty scary though. Okay. Like in Shasta's case, there is a food that you can get right. Going super careful here. Grabbing that sandwich. Yeah, there is a point where Curling Stone decelerates so much that it's actually slower than just running. Oh man. Scary. Should be a food right here. We already knew about it. Alright, Shasta coming up to Sparky. Alright. Just went for it. But Shasta got pretty good luck there. Oh, Running Weak once again down to 1 health. Probably just gonna go straight into the door with it. Yeah. Alright, now Running Weak needs to be a little bit careful here. Alright, using the backdraft of Curling Stone. Just to make sure he doesn't touch the lava. Man, like Shasta coming out of that room with 1 health. Yeah, the level that Running Weak is in right now, the longest stage in the entire game. Clocking in at almost 4 minutes. Nice, Shasta managing to jump over that I-cubed enemy with the needle. Oop. Well, we didn't commit to that one. I think it maybe hopped out of the fire a little bit too low. Unfortunately, getting bad luck there. None of the enemies spawning. Unfortunately, that boomerang is just too slow. Probably not committing to any of these, actually. Oh. I think only wanted to use the head there. It can be scary because if you do miss throwing the cutter, then you have like no attack option. It would be best to just quit out of that. Yeah, funny thing about Fire Sword is that you don't actually attack with it a lot of times. You just let it sit there and do damage. Alright, we're on a week now onto World 5. Meanwhile, Shasta is coming to the end of 5-3 in bot room. Okay, run of the week. Going with double fire for 5-1, 5-2. Run of the week, and I actually yesterday were talking about the Kirby 64 tutorial, and in that it suggests if you're starting out to use double fire for 5-1, 5-2. Sort of the evolution of this run is that it started out with like pretty much all double fire, no single fire, and more and more places started to use single fire when it was realized that even for real time, it was a lot faster to do single fire. But there's still two places that survive, or where double fire survives: the end of 4-4, and also the Wispy Woods fight and stuff surrounding it. The Chasta and the Hammer room is going to try to skip as many of these cycles as we can. Alright, just going for it. The usual way that most people go about skipping the cycles is that they skip one and then wait one out, and skip one, wait one, so on and so forth. But if you get even clipped by the hammer, you instantly die. Okay, slightly too high in that spot. Just getting some good luck on that fire enemy spawn. So once you spawn the fire enemy, wow, actually I did not know that you could go over the food item inside that tunnel on a weak screen. But for the two fire enemies that spawn during the bird mini boss that Shasta is just in, once they spawn, it's pretty much just random when they show up again. Alright, Shasta gets through safely for the second of 3 crushing rooms. Here's the last one. Unfortunately, run a week taking death pretty far into the last room of 5-1, so unfortunately he's going to have to do the rest of this just powerless. Alright, Shasta is now in HR. We'll see how the luck is. Not what you want to see. Alright. So for this particular clap pattern, you'll see Shasta go for 4 hits. And then for the slap pattern, you can get 1 hit off of it. And as usual with most bosses, you want to do 6 damage. So right now we're 4 cycles in. Shasta just needs 1 more hit. Okay. So this is sometimes what we would refer to as like a slow 5 cycle, because there were 2 claps involved. The most ideal situation is to get 2 slaps and 1 clap. That would be the fastest way of doing that. But 2 claps also does enough hits, but is a little bit slower in most cases. Yeah, run of the week having to quickly run back into 5-1 before to get double fire before going to 5-2. 5-2 has no fire enemy, so really need, especially for something that has long horizontal stretches like this, really want to have fire. Alright, Shasta nicely spacing out the fire so that he ended up right in front of that needle enemy. Alright, so coming up on Run a Week screen, you'll see how Sparky behaves for him. The main issue here is that you definitely need Needle plus Spark. Needle is all the way back where they first picked it up in the previous room. Oh, unfortunately Sparky took a death there, and then Run a Week will need to do something to respawn. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. Okay. I guess Run a Week just prefers to combine things by having them run into Kirby holding it above his head, as opposed to the slightly slow throwing it. Oh. Really want to get that shard. Shasta currently has the second of the 3 lightsabers that you'll pick up throughout this run. Here you technically don't need it, but since you had to use Spark earlier and you Cutter later on, might as well combine them. Alright, Shasta on the enemy rush level. Perhaps the most consistent way of dealing damage to enemies for these particular rooms is to just simply turn around with lightsaber. Kind of similar to Fire Sword, where you just actually just hold it out behind you and let the boss run into you. Same kind of thing here. We're not actually swinging it, we're just turning around and letting the lightsaber collide with the enemy. Alright, in this room, just need to make sure there's a shard hitting the carpet that requires Fire Needle. conveniently, those two enemies are here, and then also conveniently, the last two enemies on the right are a lightsaber. So very nice coincidence. Yeah, one thing I will mention is that Run in a Week is playing on the N64 version, while Shasta is running on the, I believe, the Dream Collection version, which is basically the same as Wii Virtual Console, which is the fastest version. And you can tell not just from sort of the increased load times, but some of the textures are different. Alright, Shasta making his way to the final boss. Unfortunately, not getting the perfect luck to start out. Miracle Matter is a neat boss where you can only attack it with phase that's currently in. So stone has to hit stone, so on and so forth. Since we came into the fight with Lightsaber, it was possible that Shasta could have started out with either Spark or Cutter, in which case you can actually just directly use the Lightsaber. Ooh, Shasta unfortunately missing the one cycle on Cutter. Getting bad luck here for fire. This one you can only get 2 hits, at most 2 hits, before it disappears. Unfortunately, taking damage won't have enough time to get off the second hit for bomb. So most all these phases except for bomb require 3 hits, except for bomb, which takes 2 hits. And the reason for that is because Miracle Matter is like a 20-sided die or 20-sided object, and so as a result, it takes 20 hits to defeat Miracle Matter. Some power, because they chose bomb, needs to be the one that was 2 hits. So sometimes jokingly people refer to Miracle Matter as D20. Alright, Shasta grabbed all the shards, and then this unlocks the final boss here. So Secret World 7. He's just going to slide his way to the end of this room. Yeah, so Miracle Matter is I guess the technical term is an icosahedron. But there are dodecahedra in this game. For example, the boulders in the water level, those are dodecahedra. Early 3D. Alright, Chasta's going to try to go for this called 0-2-1 cycle, where if he times this correctly and gets lucky. Unfortunately, didn't get lucky there. If the spike disappears and the halo has not yet reappeared, and you spin around just the right way, the camera will put you in a position where you can actually just hit the band-aid again. So you don't have to go shoot and stun the eye, break the halo again, so on and so forth. Unfortunately, missed it there, didn't get good enough luck, so he'll just have to sell for a 2 cycle. Alright, GG's to Shasta. now Run Week is getting to the end of the factory stage, 5-4. Not really sure why Run Week is electing to use this, but alright. We'll see how he attacks HR. Wow, getting a 4 cycle here, but unfortunately not doing enough damage. I can't believe this was able to get enough hits. But as you can see here, he was only able to do 3 hits in the clap pattern, and as a result, needs to spend some extra time trying to get that last hit. But then again, at the same time, he also could have. I think he also missed the first clap opportunity. Overall, making it to the second phase. I think the idea here is that. What? Interesting. I've never seen this before. Normally speaking, when you jump into HR's nose, you actually bounce off and take damage. But it seems like with the fire spark animation, it seems like you just get knocked back a little bit. Interesting. Interesting. Uh-oh. Fortunately, he has to go and get a different needle on me. But at 1 health, this might be a little bit scary. Just gonna use needle. Luckily, when you're in needle form, it does preserve your speed, so that's okay. Nicely jumping over those enemies. I think Running Weak is electing to allow the enemies to fall into the ground, so he doesn't need to worry about timing the turnaround. It can be kind of finicky sometimes, especially if you're trying to go like super tight on it. Sometimes you just miss for some reason. As you can see here with this bouncy enemy, it's not easy to swipe it by turning around. Meanwhile, for this room and the one after it, it is pretty straightforward to just swing the lightsaber while you're in the air. In that setting, the hitbox for the lightsaber is definitely generous. Oh, interesting. Running Weak was able to catch those enemies at the top of the screen. Alright, now Running Weak is on to the final boss sequence. Let's see what kind of luck he gets. Oh, starting out with the worst possible luck. Getting the bad fire pattern immediately. I don't know what it is about it, but it seems like when you get fire first, oftentimes it's the bad pattern. I don't think he's gonna get more than one hit doing that. I think just playing it very safe there. Alright, still managing to get the ice button cycle. Alright, getting the one cycle covered there, right at the very end. Okay, Running Weak going for the more difficult strat here, which is to spit that needle projectile. Well, unfortunately, ran into the Miracle Matter's iframe, so right there. Let's see if he goes for a combination here. Yeah. Nice. So this is something that's possible if you miss getting. Uh-oh. Do that. That was scary. Okay, nice. Right at the end. Running Weak's just going to take a death here just to refresh the health. There are a lot of enemies left in this room, so better to do that. Refresh the health now rather than right before the final boss. Nice. Run a week managed to get to one cycle, finishing out this one strong. As you can see here, he didn't have to stun the eye again. All right, GG's to Run a week, finishing with 126.06. All right, so our winner for this round, moving on to the next round of losers bracket, will be Mr. Shasta. We'll see if either runner wants to come in for an interview. Okay, I think that's gonna be all for now. So, once again, GG's both to Mr. Shasta and Run a Week for a fun race. And since this is loser side of the bracket, Run of the Week will be eliminated, but was able to get one win in winners, and then they got sent to losers by Curtissimo, and then now has been eliminated by Mr. Shasta. Mr. Shasta will be moving on to the next round of losers. So, if you're interested in other Kirby 64 matches, please check out our challenge page and also check the SpeedGaming schedule for upcoming matches. Anyways, thanks for watching.